What's up, sporting connoisseurs? Today we're going to be doing an MLB logos ranking. This is not the hat logos. This is the official primary logo for each team. And I've been really interested in the MLB recently, and I just wanted to get these rankings out there. I've been feeling a little bit bold, and this is going to be a proper ranking, no tier list, no nothing. I'm just going to go straight through with the ranking with number 30 all the way to number 1. So let's get straight to it. In 30th place, in last place, we have the Colorado Rockies. And honestly, this is one of the worst logos in all of pro sports, in my opinion. Like, yes, it does work as a cap logo, but in all seriousness, all this really is just two letters in a stylized font, and it's black and gray. Like, I don't understand how that is interesting. It really is the least effort they could have possibly done. Fix your logo right now. It is really bad. Next, in 29th place, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. And again, kind of similarly to the Colorado logo, it's just a big P. It's a yellow P with some points sticking out of it. I don't really understand that, but yeah, guys, it really is just too boring. Like, come on, Pittsburgh, you have the Pirates as your name. You could easily do something better and more interesting. In 28th place, we have the Washington Nationals, and this is our first kind of circular logo. And although the colors are pretty good, I think it's such a boring logo. This W logo that they use on the caps, it really doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't symbolize anything. It's just a W. So yeah, just in general, it's a nothing burger logo. So yeah, Washington, not a good one at all. Now in 27th place, we have the Houston Astros. And again, similarly to the Washington logo, it's a circular logo, and that does drop some points for me. I don't like the Houston Astros word mark. It doesn't add anything to the logo. I think the H-star logo is good, but everything around it just kind of sucks for me. So it's going to be pretty low on this ranking. And then it's the Seattle Mariners at 26th place, and I really never liked this logo. They've used this logo for quite a long time now, and I never liked it. The colors just seem a little bit off, and they clash a lot. And I'm not a huge fan of the compass kind of design. I think it looks a little bit busy and a little bit weird, so I'm not a huge fan of that. And now the San Diego Padres. This might be a little bit of a surprise, but really there's not much you could say about this logo. It's just an SD intertwined, and then you can see the P in the middle of this logo. And I just think they could do a lot more with their brand. I gotta say, this does look good on hats, but as a standalone logo, it's not really that great at all. And we have the Minnesota Twins at 24th, and this is their new logo they came up with this year. This did replace their old circular Minnesota Twins logo, which definitely was a good change. But even still, I'm not gonna rank this super highly because it's just a T and a C, and people might not realize that actually means Twin Cities. And yeah, it's just a little bit boring, I gotta say. At 23 now, we have the Milwaukee Brewers. And yeah, I'm a really big fan of the MB glove logo in the middle of this logo, but the word mark Milwaukee Brewers around it is just totally unnecessary for me. Like, if they just removed everything around the glove logo, I would actually like this a lot. Because of that word mark, it's gonna drop it down a lot for me, so that is why it's in 23rd. Alright, and the San Francisco Giants at 22, and similarly to Seattle's logo, I was never a huge fan of this design. Yeah, there's nothing really much to this logo anyway. It's just kind of like a giant baseball with the word Giants in front of it. Like, I feel like I could have easily put this lower, but I do like it more than those circular logos that have the word mark in it. So that's why it's kind of more towards the middle of the pack. And now for the Detroit Tigers. This is really a basic logo at 21st, but similar to the Minnesota Twins, it is kind of a hat logo that doubles as a standalone logo. And I do appreciate the scripted D here. I think it looks pretty good, but I'm not gonna praise it too much. It's just gonna end up in the middle of the pack for me. So at number 20 with the Tampa Bay Rays, and they did remove that baseball diamond design behind the Rays text. So right now it is just just the Rays with the spark inside of the R, and this is an alright logo. I don't think it's bad. I think it's one of the better word marks you're going to see around the MLB, but maybe actually putting in a stingray in the actual logo, kind of like the Devil Rays logo, that would elevate this a lot. But right now, it is mid-pack. The Atlanta Braves come in at 19th place, and similar to the Rays one, it kind of is a little bit boring with the word mark. The red tomahawk does look pretty good, but it's kind of a secondary design feature, but this logo is a little bit all over the place. I don't know if I really love it, but even their cap logo, that scripted A, is actually nicer than this logo, so I don't really know. For the Oakland Athletics at number 18, I like this logo. I'm more a fan of the scripted A. I like that a lot. Obviously, they do have that circle design, which I said I didn't like, but I do think it kind of works just because the colors are so unique. So yes, I'm a fan of this one. I like the scripted A a lot and the colors. At number 17, we have the Boston Red Sox, and I think automatically I'm not going to promote this too much just because you rarely see the two Sox logo anywhere on their branding. You mainly see their cap logo, the B, the scripted B, but you never see kind of the Sox on any jerseys, any hats. So that's kind of the reason why it is lower. I do think it is executed well though. Up next in 16th, and we're almost at the halfway point, but this is the Kansas City Royals. And automatically this is a little bit better than the rest that we've seen just because of the colors. I like the royal blue and that crown color. I'm not really sure. I guess it's beige or something, but it looks good and I like the symbolization, but I kind of wish there were more design elements to it. At number 15, we have the Texas Rangers, and again, it's one of those circular logos, but kind of like Oakland, I think it works this time because the colors really complement the logo. I like that 3D Texas T. I also like the font of the word mark. The Texas Rangers word mark looks really good. I like the half and half red and blue design too. I just think even though it is a circular design, it works with the Texas Rangers and their brand. At number 14, it's the Guardians, and this is one of the most recent MLB logos, and I'm a big fan of this one. I don't really understand why they kind of went towards the angel theme because we already have a team called the LA Angels, but I think they nailed this logo with what they had. Obviously, if you're making a logo for a team called the Guardians, there isn't much really that comes to mind when you're thinking of an icon for a team like that. But I think the G with the wings behind it around the baseball, it works. And I like how they implemented the 3D design of the G. It just looks really good. I think they nailed this one for the Guardians. At number 13, I guess it's the LA Angels. But yeah, it is the Halo logo, and I like this because it looks good on hats. And just in general, it's a nice logo. It's basically based off of the big A that sits outside of their stadium, so I really like that. The Angels did do a good job on their logo, so it is pretty high at number 13. And now at number 12, it's the Cincinnati Reds, and I've seen a lot of these rankings. They put the Cincinnati Reds a little bit lower than I do. Some lists even put them towards the bottom, but I don't really agree with that. I think the font is really cool with the Reds. I like how it is 3D as well. I think that's a good touch. If it was just red and white, I would see how this is not a good logo, but the incorporation of the black shadow 3D effect does look really good here. And I think the C kind of ties everything well together, so it is a pretty nice one. At number 11, we have the iconic Yankees official logo. And what I mean by official is that they normally use their cap logo. It's the NY script logo that they normally use on all of their apparel, all of their merchandise. And I guess that's why I rank this a little bit lower than perhaps I wanted to. No hats and no jerseys, so that's kind of a big problem for me. But it is a nice design with the baseball, the Yankee script, and you got Big Sam's hat. So it's a nice logo up here in 11th. For the Chicago Cubs here at number 10, of course we're now into our top 10, but I think this logo really packages itself together really nicely. This is one of the more classic logos in the MLB. It's got the classic kind of American colors, which looks good. The blue circle around the Cubs, yeah, I just think it looks good. Now in 9th place, it is the Dodgers, and people are going to say, yes, it is a word mark. So why is it so high on your list? But you got to understand, I think it just looks good. right? You should be able to forgive a logo being a word mark if it actually fits, it makes sense, and it works with the overall design. People like this design. They like the blue Dodgers with the red contrasting trail of the baseball. Just in general, the design of this is really nice. There's nothing much to complain about. And now in 8th place, we have the Baltimore Orioles with their cap logo becoming their primary logo. And I guess the reason why I didn't want to put this kind of in the top 5 is because it's a little bit unserious. It is a cartoon, but I guess other than that, there's not much to fault about this logo. Next up, we have the Chicago White Sox, and yes, there aren't any interesting colors to it, but it's such an iconic logo. Even though it is just a black and white logo with a little bit of gray to it, it does get elevated because it is an iconic mark and people are seeing that. And in general, you see a lot of White Sox hats, a lot of White Sox jerseys in popular culture. So I think just for that reason, it deserves a lot of credit. Now for the other half of New York, it is the New York Mets at number 6. And again, like the Yankees, they don't actually use this logo on their jerseys. They don't use it on their hats, but it does kind of show up more in the branding of the team. And I'm just a really big fan of the imagery here. First of all, you got the bridge and then you got the skyline of New York, and I just think it looks really good. I also do like the color combination as well. At number 5, we have the more simplistic, but again, really nice logos here from the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I'm a huge fan of this color combination. You got that crimson, dark crimson red with the black and the tan, and I'm a huge fan of the imagery going on here. Yes, it is a snake design with the tongue coming out of the A. I just think, yeah, it does look really good. It nails the branding of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and that is why it has made it to the top 5. At number 4, we have the St. Louis Cardinals, and this is one of the more classic designs in all of baseball, and I think the reason is because the colors really do match well together. You have the red and that really dark navy blue, but it all matches together because the bird actually sits on a yellow bat. I think that works really well. Even though it does have a word mark, and that generally is a no-no, I just think it still works really well and it fits with the overall design, so I'm a huge fan of that. Entering our top 3, we have the Philadelphia Phillies with their updated new Liberty Bell logo, and I was a huge fan of this change. Their old logo basically had this design, but it was kind of concealed inside of a diamond shape, and I'm glad they removed that diamond because this was the main element of their logos, but because of that diamond, it was shrunken down. So that was a huge problem back then. But now that they just have these two symbols as their design, I think it looks a lot better. Obviously, it represents the history of the city really well, and the word mark is the nicest word mark in all of the MLB. At number 2, we have the Toronto Blue Jays. And originally I was wondering whether I should put this logo so high, but whenever I dropped it down in my ranking, maybe I'm just being too harsh, and I think I was, because I love the colors with this. I love how sharp the Blue Jay does look. I think everything works well together. The design is pretty much perfect. So congrats, Toronto, you made it to 2nd place. And then at number 1, we have the brand new Miami Marlins logo. And yes, it's probably really unexpected that I put this all the way up here, but the more I look at this logo, the better I find it. And I think it all has to do with the colors used in this design. First of all, the word mark looks really nice, and I also like that red 3D design. It's so colorful, so neon, but it works with the black as well. And then the Marlin itself surrounding the baseball, that is a really, really neat touch. And of course, the colors look super nice with that Miami blue design. But yeah, guys, the more I look at this logo, the more I actually love this logo. And that's really the reason why I put it in number 1. But yeah, that's going to end this video. This was a ranking of all the MLB logos. I have done this video for the NHL. Also, definitely go back and watch that. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and a subscribe to support the channel. But yes, please watch my video ranking the NHL logos at the end screen. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.